7. A talented barber opens a salon on a southern island. Other salons provide different hairstyles and services. It's cheap and everyone loves him because he makes women's hair beautiful. The young man imports permanent hair gel from Stan. Ineffective attempts at haircutting by 7. He then cuts his hair with his scissors. The boy tries to tackle him, but he runs away. Sophie arrives to bring 7 and Dai Bo up, but a cat gets in the way, so the chicken flies up with Dai Bo and the cat. An elderly man notices a boy's hairstyle and wishes he were younger because he's bald. 7 and Dai Bo are outside their salon. Stan asks 7 when they will have treatment money. Dai Bo says he never completes his missions and their salon is dysfunctional. Dai Bo is upset because he can't afford a cigar, while Dachen's guard comes for a haircut. During his hair treatment, he tells them about island murders. Dachen wants 7 to kill the killers and pays a lot for each head. Dai Bo and 7 agreed. Dai Bo's new hair wax. When the wax can is opened, the victim thinks will set his hair, but the trigger switch launches a fatal dart. 7's first target is in a restaurant. He sits down, opens the wax can, and offers to style his hair. 7 fends off the killer's trickery and flees. The waiter yells that he's leaving without paying. 7 then attacks a restaurant cook making meatballs. 7 demands food by name. He's kept his identity disguised, so he's astonished to hear his name. 7 is slammed with everything he has. 7 escapes as a meatball. 7 encounters a cosplaying assassin in a toilet. He's upset and starts crying because he's ordinary. 7 tells him he's the only one wearing the dress. On his way home, 7 sees Uncle Shen and Cola. A killer asks Cola about the Chicken Island's strongest. She points to 7 behind him. He answers 7's scissors with his sword. 7 tells Cola to visit the miracle doctor with Uncle Shen. The killer swords 7. 7 is challenged to kill him until he's dead. The killer breaks 7's scissors, and 7 punches him so hard he falls. 7 recommends he train at home. 7 identifies himself as a barber to the killer. Uncle Shen's surgery succeeded. Killer 13 removes her mask and says many assassins are coming, and they can't beat them. A man walks into Dai Boji's salon for a haircut, and 7 recognizes him. He is the same as Spring Windichiro, the serial killer. He informs 7 that he works at Share Fun Mart, and that he meets a girl who buys milk from his store and wishes to speak with her. 7 styles his hair in such a way that he is unable to leave the house. Dai Bo announces their salon's anniversary and offers 5,000 points for 500 yuan. A young lady is leaving. Dai Bo tells her to accept the offer, and that if he lies, the salon's signboard will fall on him. However, he claims that this is a coincidence. Killer 13 is standing on the salon's roof. She recalls a conversation with her master in which he orders her to bring 7's sword and kill him. She flees with his sword. I was flying towards 7 to attack him now. She pursues him, but he escapes by using a flying chicken. 7 to safety. Killer 13 recalls being saved by 7. 7 falls to the ground when Killer 13's bird carries a flying chicken. She recalls her master's advice that emotions are an assassin's worst enemy, and if she disobeys her master, her life is over. 7 challenges her to a 3-on-3 fight. If he falls to the ground, he loses, and if Killer 13 loses, he must give 7 her magical sword. But 7 claims that he doesn't need her sword and that if she loses, she must accompany him to the beach. While they are fighting, 7 notices someone on the tree attempting to attack Killer 13. He saves Killer 13, but her hair is untied in the process. Plum Blossom 11, the Killer 13's sister, is the attacker on the tree. When Killer 13 loses, she offers her sword to 7, but he declines. She also assigns him the task of assassinating Dai Bo, Mad Bark, Mew Kitty, Dakshin, and Jiang. When asked, Killer 13 states that they occupy a location and have an order for assassination. They wipe out strong people from that location, and this is how they occupy a location. They initially believed Mad Bark was the strongest, so they ordered Killer 13 to kill him, only to discover that there were more champions than Mad Bark. Killer 13 informs 7 that her master wishes for his death. She takes off on her bird, and 7 begins to consider his beach attire. 7 cuts a man's hair, and Dai Bo informs him about the bill. That man offers a selection of Swan Wu martial arts books in exchange for a haircut. He selects a book on fashionable hairstyles. A dog carrying a guitar arrives at the dog's headquarters. He shoots all of the dogs and has a guitar duel with Mad Bark. He performs a song. At night, Dog Bark drinks wine in the yard. Dai Bo and the new kitten are hiding behind a tree. The singer dog then appears and binds the Mad Bark with a magical melody. 7 appears in the form of a bottle near the Mad Bark and captures and fights the singer's dog. The singer dog sings another song and performs magical effects on them. To shield himself from the effects, 7 wears chicken headphones. 7 attacks the singing dog as he climbs a tree. 7 steps on the dog's nose, but he doesn't react. 7 realizes he is not a dog and puts on his mask. Meow Kai, the new kitten, recognizes him. Mew Kitty asks Kai why he did this. He expresses his desire to kill Mad Bark because he loves Mew Kitty. He left the island in an attempt to forget Mew, but in vain. He is beaten up by some guys one day and Nine Fingers' dreadful melody not only saves him but also teaches him the magical sound of sadness. Kai begins to cry and Mad Bark begins to sing a song. New Kai goes to Dolly again. 7 tells Dai Bo that he traded a wax can for Meow Kai's map. Cola visits Dai Bo G's hair salon for a haircut. She invites 7 to accompany her after treatment, but he declines because he wants to study a book. They ride their bikes outside. 7 inquired whether the miracle doctor had cured her, and she replied that he had given him some medicine with magical healing powers. He's getting better, she says as she walks away. Meanwhile, an unseen lizard assassin binds him with his tongue. A security guard approaches him and accuses him of not wearing a helmet. Cola calls 7, but he is unavailable. The four-eyed prince of Stan enters the jungle and discovers his flying car. He transforms it into a flight mood while Cola arrives and asks her to drive her to Stan. He accepts and drives her to Stan. When they arrive, a robot examines Cola from head to toe and provides her with data. A man informs Cola that she has a genetic condition. Price informs her that he was not conceived in her mother's womb, but rather as a result of a genetic fusion experiment conducted 14 years ago in Stan. She is also told that her cancer is caused by a genetic defect, and that he can cure her if he stays in Stan and helps them with research, but she refuses and returns to Chicken Island. 7 is found on the same road where she left her. She returns him in front of the prince and a man. They say that's why these people are so content, and the prince says he admires them. 7 is back in his food stall when Dai Bo approaches him and asks him why he is selling these items again. He responds that he needs money to purchase his outfit. Dai Bo informs him of a large order at Salon. Killer 13 sells 7's sword to a man who wishes to purchase it. 7's salon is present when Captain Jack arrives. He hangs Dai Bo and challenges 7 to an attack within the next 10 minutes, or they will eat Dai Bo after roasting it. 7 begins fighting using his magical scissors. He understands that he cannot defeat the captain with ordinary powers. On the other hand, Killer 13 is contemplating 7's sword. She considers who 7 is and where he came from. She is watching them both fight. The captain declares that he has been looking forward to this moment for 3 years. He punishes 7 severely because 7 once stabbed him. 7 gets up and injures himself, just as he did the captain. Killer 13 appears immediately, but the captain also attacks her, and 7 saves her. The captain flees and is burned. When Dai Bo goes to say goodbye to the doctor, he notices 7 is missing and calls a miracle doctor for 7's treatment. 7 approaches Killer 13, who is perched on a tree branch. He provides her with a beach outfit. Someone walks into the salon and shows Dai Bo a video of 7 pleading for help. The man instructs Dai Bo to follow the phone's location. When Dai Bo arrives at that location, it appears familiar to him, and he hears the voice of King Pheasant. He once beat Dai Bo once, severely injuring him, and he was then brought to Stan for the experiment. He was transformed into a powerful soldier after many transformations. He wishes to exact vengeance on Dai Bo. Dai Bo tries but fails to defeat him. Finally, as for Bo, he admits that he wished for a human butcher, as they do with chicken. He also wanted 7 to be a killer, but when he saw that 7 couldn't complete any of his missions, and instead help them, he had to stop thinking about it. King Pheasant nearly kills Dai Bo, but 7 and the flying chicken arrive in time to save him. 7 tells Dai Bo that, while he has not yet recovered his memory, he occasionally experiences flashbacks, but prefers his life as it is now. Dai Bo expresses gratitude to 7 for saving his life. Plum Blossom 11 invites 7 to meet her at the beach at night. He is overjoyed, hangs a notice on the salon door, and arrives at the beach ahead of schedule. He waits there and returns to buy black roses and borrow a fine dress. When he returns, he encounters Plum Blossom 11, who stabs him in the back with a poisonous blade. Meanwhile, Guard Dachim arrives. Blossom 11 attacks him as well, but he defeats her. Chairman Jiang of the Purity Society also arrives and attacks Plum Blossom, but Killer 13 intervenes and saves her. Blossom is told to leave. Killer 13 accepts the black roses given to her by 7. She also takes 7's shirt off and flees. 13 inquires about Plum Blossom's whereabouts and informs her that 7 is her younger brother. Plum Blossom claims she has no relationship with the Maihua family and considers them to be her bitter enemies. A skull is held by an iron-handed Dragon King. He throws the skull into a cave, and a monster emerges. The Dragon Man fights it and kills it in one blow. Meanwhile, a single-eyed man appears and informs him that he is going to die. After that, he attacks and murders the Dragon Man. He tells the little girl with him that she is not his disciple until he has murdered all of the targets. They both come to a halt to meet someone. The Green Phones become the Shadow Killers, and the following year, the leader brings a 15-year-old boy and gives him a token, indicating that he is now one of 7's Shadow Killers. In jealousy, a beast attacked him, but he fought bravely, and the Master saved him. The Master told him that he would have won if he had said it better. The 15-year-old boy's name was 7. Chairman Jian goes home after purchasing vegetables. A beast named Redtooth comes into his house at night and attacks him. When 7 sees Redtooth, he is reminded of his fight with him. Jiang refuses to unlock the White Lily seal. claiming that he seals demon blood in his body for his own good. Redtooth, however, does not agree and rushes to kill Jiang, but Seven uses Dachan's body to resist. When Master asks why Seven is still alive, she responds that it is because he saved her life. The Master promises to pray for her, but Seven must be killed. Pull Blossom away from Redtooth to save Seven. She and Redtooth, both disciples in Heaven Lily, fell in love and were expelled because romantic relationships were not permitted in Heaven Lily. Plum Blossom attacks Redtooth, but she throws him into the air and tries to destroy his demon emotions. However, he attacks Seven, while the flying chicken Sifi transforms into a strong bodybuilder and fights Redtooth before being killed by him. Seven is given the dagger by Master to kill Redtooth, and he also constructs a safety shield so that no one can see them while fighting. Seven cannot kill Redtooth, so Master must, but this is against the law. When the Master removes the shield, everyone believes Seven has murdered Redtooth. Seven departs from Chicken Island for Xuanwu.